guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making a really delicious lasagna. I love to make homemade fresh lasagna noodles to go with it, but you can feel free to use store-bought lasagna sheets if you like. You don't have to make fresh, but I'm just going to do that today. We're going to do that a little bit later on. And I have in my 5-quart pot back there, I have 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage and 1 pound of ground beef. So I have that just sauteing for right now. And I also have 1 onion and 2 cloves of garlic that we're gonna chop up. Okay, so once you have your onions and garlic chopped up, we're gonna go ahead and add it to our pot back there so it can cook with the ground meats. My meat has been cooking for about 5 minutes or so. It's still it's not fully cooked through yet, but it's gonna get a ton of cooking because you're gonna cook the sauce part of the meat sauce for about 1.5 hours. Go ahead and add your onions and garlic. Okay, go ahead and add a pinch of salt. Okay, give it a mix. Okay, you can see there is a lot of, it's a lot of meat juices, but it's also a lot of fat at the bottom of my pan. I'm going to drain this. I'm going to take my ladle here and I'm going to put it in a little bowl. That way it's not just swimming in fat. You don't want your meat sauce to be like that. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so that was quite a bit. So I'm going to set this aside. I left about 2 tablespoons of the fat in here because I wanted to be able to have, some of it, but just not like a cup of it. That's a little insane. For spices, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano and 1 teaspoon of dry basil and 1/2 teaspoon of chili flakes. Okay, I'm also adding 1/2 cup of red wine. If you don't like wine or if you don't want to use wine, you can leave it out, but I think the flavor of it is phenomenal in this dish. You also need a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Go ahead and add those in. And then you need a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Okay, go ahead and give it a mix. I also like to add some fresh basil along. I know we have dry basil in here, but I really love the flavor of fresh. Okay, you're going to let this cook for about 1.5 hours, and I will show you guys what it looks like when it's done. And I'm going to turn my heat down to like medium low. Also, make sure you pop a lid on your pot here because this will splatter and you don't want to get your countertops or your stove dirty. Okay, so the meat sauce cooked for about 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and I just have it sitting back there on my stove just chilling while we make the pasta noodles. So I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I also have 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and you're gonna add a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And I have 3 eggs I'm gonna crack in. Okay, I'm just going to take a fork and just kind of slowly incorporate the flour. It'll come into a nice dough eventually. It doesn't make any sense to use a fork at some point, so I'm just going to go in with my hands. Okay, go ahead and dump it out onto your counter. Okay, you're going to continue to knead this till it becomes really nice and smooth. So I kneaded this for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's a lot smoother than what it was, and it's not as crumbly, and it came together really well. I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer with my pasta roller attachment to roll this out into the thickness that I like. I'm going to set this aside for a little bit and I'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so for the pasta, I'm using my KitchenAid pasta roller attachment. It's going to make your life a lot easier. For this, you're going to remove this little piece here, and there's a little knob here, and you just want to turn it. And then that piece comes right out. I'm going to set this aside. And you have a little piece here that you're going to put in, and you want to line it up with the way that this shape is inside. Okay, and it's in, and you just want to turn the knob so you tighten it. See, not going anywhere. And you have numbers on the side, and it goes from 1 to, let's see, it goes 1 to 8. You're gonna start at the 1, and you're gonna turn on your mixer. And I just cut this into sections. I'm gonna just take a knife and just cut a piece. And I flatten mine. I noticed that works better with this attachment in my experience with it. And you're gonna flour your piece of dough here, and then you're gonna stick it and go down. It's gonna come right out. And you're gonna move it to the number 2. This just kind of pops out like that. So just move it to the 2 and it clicks in place, and then go again. A little bit more flour. Go to number 3. Number 4. A little bit more flour, and in we go. Well, there's enough flour on there for 5. So turn it to number 5 and go again. Okay, so you're just gonna set this aside, but I usually take some plastic wrap and I lay my fresh pasta on it and I cover it so it doesn't dry out. Go back to the number 1 when you have a new piece. And don't worry, I know the pasta sheets are really long, but you're gonna cut them so they're not as long. I just take a pizza cutter and I just roll across it just to cut it. So just go ahead and continue till you're all done. Okay, last one. We're gonna get going on making the ricotta later. So you need 15 ounces of ricotta, big pinch of dry parsley. I don't have any fresh, but if you have fresh, just use that. 1/4 cup of fresh Parmesan cheese, and you need 2 eggs. Go ahead and give it a mix. Okay, so now we're ready to get going on assembling our lasagna. So I'm using a 9x9 baking dish. So you're gonna put down a layer of your meat sauce. Okay, and then you're gonna take your fresh pasta and just layer it. Okay, and then you're gonna put a layer of the ricotta and just spread this out. Then a layer of your meat sauce. You wanna make sure you cover your noodles. That way they have something get cooked in. And a layer of the ricotta, a layer of mozzarella cheese, meat sauce. All right, so you'll have one more layer of pasta. It's gonna be a 3-layer lasagna. So go ahead and finish this up and just do the same layers. And I got my oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So go ahead and finish. Okay, so you're on the final layer here. You're just gonna add some more mozzarella cheese, give it a nice cover, and you're gonna add some Parmesan cheese. Okay, now your parm. Okay, we're gonna pop this into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. And I'll show you guys what it looks like when it is done. Okay, so the lasagna is done. So once you pop it out of the oven, you wanna let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. You don't wanna cut right into it and like scoop it on out because it will just fall apart. And so lasagna needs time to set. Mine got a little bit darker on top than what I intended it for it to be. So just make sure you keep an eye on it so it doesn't get too dark. Okay, you could sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. I had some extra meat sauce, so you could, if you wanted, you could take some of the extra meat sauce and just put it on top of there. And I didn't use all the ricotta because it's just, I had enough for my liking. But you could put a little bit extra ricotta on there if you want. It smells insane, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Okay, gonna get a little bit of everything here. It's really hot still, so good. The pasta is incredibly soft. It's amazing. The meat sauce has a little bit of a kick from the Thai chili flakes that I used. Phenomenal. It's a perfect marriage of flavors. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you make this. And it is perfect reheated too. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.